Hello, everybody. It's meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Wild weather encompassing much of the nation with warnings for cold weather, winter storms across the Rocky Mountain West and the Great Lakes. Some severe weather in the form of tornado warnings in the deep south. Will this be the coldest night for Fargo? I think so. I'll tell you why coming up in this version of Hutch's Weather. Hey everybody, have you heard of Robert Gibb and Sons? Well, for over 110 years, they have been getting the job done. And, well, if you see, or call them to see if you're eligible for a $2,000 tax credit rebate on select heating upgraded systems. Call Robert Gibb and Sons, let them know that Hutch sent you, and, well, I got to tell you, today's weather has been ridiculously cold as we start out with a look at some of those low temperatures that we saw today from my friends at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. A cold pool of air here in the Lake Sakakawea area in the teens below zero. The oil patch closer to 25 to 30 below zero. And it was the coldest night for many in parts of west central Minnesota. And look at this in the Cass Clay County area as we saw air temperatures in that 22 to 25 below category. The coldest morning so far for Fargo was back in January at 22 below. Will we be colder than that? We'll talk about that. But those wind chills, even right now, as you're heading outdoors, ear-splitting cold. This is actually from a very dense network of instrumentations that you see here from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. 28 below in Jamestown, 22 below out in Mavie is what it feels like on exposed skin. Not quite as ripping in Staples or Wadena and Hubbard County at this particular hour, but still frosty nonetheless. Now, thanks a lot, Nathan, for joining me. If you, and Brenda, you as well, if you have a comment or question, please drop it right here on my Facebook Live. But for now, let's take a look at what we have going on elsewhere across the region with regards to the temperatures and the wind speeds as we take a peek. Ooh-wee, it's mighty cold out there. This is actual air temperatures, 2 below in Fargo, 0 for Bismarck, staying below 0 for many in the area. If we look down into parts of west central Minnesota, things have warmed just a pinch out here. So from Bemidji, where it's 1 above, Fergus Falls, you are still in the freezer at 4 below. Same thing for Detroit Lakes. Look at this, the Wheaton area at 2 below 0, and we get up to Watertown, 7 degrees, the temperature there. Let's take a look at that radar because we have wild weather just down to the south of us, and you can always see the radar anytime, anywhere on hutchesweather.com. As this loads, you'll see southeastern Minnesota seeing light snow illustrated here in light blue. Where we see the deeper blues there, that's where we have some more heavy snow working its way into the Great Lakes right now. We talked about Chicago. Well, it's on its way. The pink would be some ice and sleet working its way through for a mix of wintry weather. This is, again, interactive radar, so you can zoom it to any point of interest out there right now. Now, last night on my YouTube channel, I did a national review of that risk for tornadoes, and you betcha we have tornado warnings right now in the deep south as you can really see these isolated thunderstorms that have been developing here. That threat's going to continue to drift off to the north and east through parts of Mississippi, head into western Alabama as we go through the next few hours. Hail and some gusty straight line wind potential, as we talked about last night, will evolve from this on the westernmost storms as we go through. That's something else that's of interest. And again, what's of interest to me is your uploads of photos. So if you scroll down my page near the bottom, you're going to see a couple of interesting things. Number one, you can see the latest with regards to my videos right here, but down at the very bottom down here, you're going to find, well, your photos and videos. That's where you can share what's going on in your neck of the woods with us. Hi, Clarine. Good to have you on board. Thanks again, Nathan. And I got to tell you what, with as cold as it is, we're seeing some amazing photos out there, so keep them coming. And I want to take a minute to thank my sponsors at the top line. If you have needs at all, say you have family coming to visit. KAJ, what is that? Check them out. They are a local business in the hospitality business here in Fargo with 5 locations right here to serve you. And they're not only great and fantastic rooms with wonderful service, but they also can take care of your big events as well. From a business convention to a wedding, give them a call. Check it out by clicking that button. You can see more of their fine properties there. And here is a look at their page as we go ahead and click towards it. What you're going to notice about KAJ Hospitality is these are a lot of prime properties in and around the FM area and beyond, as a matter of fact. I'll give them a visit today. And thanks to all of my fine sponsors making Hutch's Weather possible. Now let's get back to the radar over here. And what we're going to find out is that we do have some active weather across the nation. And this forecast showing some snow as you get down south of Sioux Falls that has developed across the area. And that continues to exit places like Omaha. So things are starting to clear up now, as we talked about in your forecast. Our forecast remains cold. Let's talk about how low we go. And here's a look at Hutch's digits. Now, a couple of things. Deep snow from south of Bismarck right here into west central Minnesota means, I think, Fargo has its coldest night of the season. 26 below at the airport, I think, in parts east of town. We're going to see some of you hitting the 30s below as we start your day. Fergus Falls, a good opportunity for very close to that for you. Same thing for Detroit Lakes. Same thing for you folks out there in Park Rapids where you got some fluffy flakes of snow. Indeed, it's a frozen tundra up here, and well, it's going to be the coldest morning for many of us here in western Minnesota as we get started out the day, and same thing for southeast North Dakota. Not as cold in the area of Grand Forks. Check out the impact of winds, wind chills again between 30 and 50 below zero. But we're starting to see some improvement out to the west. South winds will begin developing out here, and that's going to allow things to warm up ahead of the Friday flakes in your forecast. So let's get right to it. Let's get to the facts. Here's what you need to know. Temperatures tonight, Fargo 26 below. We're going to warm up thanks to a southerly component to the breeze, but I wouldn't call it hot. 0, we'll celebrate. 7 below, so not nearly as cold on Friday. We'll see a chance of light snow from the morning through the mid-afternoon hours that will drift off to the east. So the most impact from this will be off to the east. I'll show you a map of the forecast snow here in a moment. Geez, it's still a freeze as we head through the weekend with morning temperatures below 0 and afternoon temperatures that will be on the right side of 0 as we go through. And then as we head into President's Day, it looks like another Arctic blob blasts the region. 15 to 25 below, again, with relentless cold in place. It does look like milder celebrations will ensue on Wednesday, and we're all excited about that because we'll start to see temperatures warm up. But it's real brief as we go through. Now, Friday's winter weather event is going to be mainly a light one, the way it looks. It does not look too heavy here. We could have a few places in central Minnesota and out toward the Iron Range that pick up more than the 2 inches that you see here. But as a rule, a ½ inch to an inch for most of the area, and that's it. Now notice the track of the snow right through the I-90 corridor and the Highway 200 corridor here. It will come with some wind, so please keep that in mind. And Amanda says gross, and indeed it is pretty gross out there, but we're making the best out of it as we possibly can. So that's a look at your snow forecast. And now there's nothing more better than to remind you that I really appreciate all of you supporting Hutch's Weather Kids. And this week, tomorrow at 4:30 right here on Facebook and on hutchesweather.com, you can catch McKenna McQuiston from the showroom floor at Luther Family Ford. We're talking weather, and it's a lot of fun. And by the way, if you have a youngster who might love to help Hutch do the weather, learn more about presenting, it doesn't have to be weather, just presenting and talking about stuff. Well, let's have some fun. Head on over to Luther Family Ford anytime. Tell them Hutch sent you. They'll point you in the direction to get you signed up, or hutchesweather.com, and you can sign up right on the website right there. Thanks to my fine sponsors at Luther Family Ford for helping Hutch help keep our students interested in learning more about the sciences. It's a lot of fun. For now, that's a look at your weather. Brenda says, I'm a kid. When's it my turn? I got you, Brenda. That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Well, you can stop by Luther Family Ford and swing in, on weeks and let me know. Say hi, ask for Hutch, and sign up, and we'll see what happens. All right, that's a look. Now, let's take a look at what's going on with regards to our road conditions across North Dakota. Remember, South Dakota, you're going to run into some snow. A lot of green here does not mean perfect snow conditions on the roads. It means that it's seasonal, so there'll be some slippery spots out there. But by and large, it's pretty quiet here. In Minnesota, once we get to the southeastern part of the state, there's a little bit of light snow starting to fall there. And you notice the blue that you see here south of the Twin Cities out towards Rochester, that is some snow building on area roads. So as we zoom into Rochester just a little closer and point south, you can see the wintry mess ensuing there. Now, this is not any anything that you can't drive through, but with caution, you can certainly make it through safely. But if you're going too fast, you may be one of these asterisks on here. Those are crashes that have been reported on I-35 south into Iowa. Speaking of Iowa and South Dakota, let's check in on South Dakota. Most of the snow showers today, southern parts of the state. So we're talking I-90 corridor down through Sioux Falls and Sioux City. And as we take a peek at what's going on there, you're going to notice that we do have some areas, again, with some pretty slick road conditions. Let's check right in on Sioux Falls, shall we? That's a thoroughfare, whether you're talking about Interstate 29 or Interstate 90, both of them showing some snow on the side of the road from a fresh system passing its way through. And that is a look at the South Dakota roads. Real quickly, Iowa, if you're heading even farther south than that, keep in mind you can check most of these states right on hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere, even from your mobile device in your car, but don't do it while you're driving, right? Okay, let's check out Iowa. Here we got some pink roads. Those are roads that are completely covered as we go from Duluth, smack dab in the center part of the state, out in towards the area east of town here. So as we go out towards Oxford, let's take a look at this area. It's pink on the roads, and this is a snow plow showing us what's going on out there. And this doesn't look like fun. The interstate there and the roads there covered with a layer of ice and snow. So Iowa, it's a mess out there as this storm system works its way through. All right, that is a peek at the weather across the area. And Wentworth, South Dakota, it looks like we do have some slipperiness out there in parts of South Dakota as well. Thanks, Brenda, for your question. Over under for the next day above freezing, 19.5 days, says Jake. I need to wash my truck. Tell you what, you can get the job done right now. The lines are short and the car washes are good. You just got to make sure you dry off the door jambs because you don't want to get froze inside your truck, right? So give it a good drive with the heater on. And again, in this weather, I like to drive my car for a while, make sure the glass and the windows are warmed up substantially before you go pouring hot water on an icy cold vehicle. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. Let's check in on some active weather across the United States real quick as we end this version of Hutch's Weather, because it's fun to show you that we have wild weather going on out north of New Orleans, rather, in Mississippi here, south of Jackson. We have a tornado warning there. We have another one right here in the pink boxes. This is what we talked about yesterday. Spin in the atmosphere and these isolated storms, not on the main line here. This main line is going to bring more of a threat for the gusty straight line winds. But any of these isolated cells we see here, you have to watch real close in the deep south for those puppies to start spinning up, because there is some turning in the atmosphere today. These actual tornado warnings right now, radar indicated tornadoes moving northeast at 43 miles per hour. There could be some hail around 3/4 of an inch. So by and large, the main threat from many of these storms as we head into the afternoon will be hail up to about 1.5 inches in diameter. This particular storm here near the Brookhaven area, 1-inch diameter hail. A tornado is possible. Again, it's out ahead of the main line and there is spin in these puppies there. All of this activity will be spreading north and eastward towards Meridian. As we head into Mississippi and Birmingham, you got a whole line of them just to the south there. Those will be pushing up to the north and east for tonight. Now, as we take a look at the East Coast, look at this. Roanoke, Virginia, we talked about the ice potential there, and here it is. We do have freezing rain, and look at how much of it. 0.6 of an inch. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of inches of ice out there. As we take a look at what's going on, sometimes that can cause power outages. So it says, Hutch, check out power outage. Oh, no. Look at red. That's Virginia out there. We got 100,000 or more without power in Virginia, and North Carolina, it's no picnic there either, with 10,000 without power. So that's what's going on across portions of the mid-Atlantic states right now, as we have an ice storm with wind, very heavy rain. I do believe there could be some problems with some flash flooding in some of those areas as well, as that weather-making system works its way through. To find out a little bit more on the power outages in this particular area, and just to give you a hint here, wow, there are over 4 million customers tracked and 163,000 or so without power, mainly in southern and central portions of the state of Virginia right now, with some counties with as high as 20,000 as far as folks without power. So keep that in mind if you know anybody out in Virginia right now. There's quite the storm system making its way through. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Again, cold is taking hold here. I do believe it will be Fargo's coldest night of the season, and your coldest one so far, 23 below zero here in Fargo. I think we get down to around 26 below overnight. By the way, Grand Forks, 25 below, your coldest night so far out at UND and the National Weather Service office. Out at the airport, 22 below, your coldest temperature so far. You will not be as cold tonight in the Northern Valley. Interestingly, why? the coldest of the air mass has slid south. And not only that, there's more fresh snow on the ground down in these southern counties. That's a look at your weather. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Stay tuned, stay warm, stay safe. And most of all, you can always check your weather right here on hutchesweather.com. Have a wonderful day. Please follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Hutch's Weather.